climbing that I just kept going as far with it as I could. And that took me to Everest.
In the early hours of the morning, he's going to make a summit attempt. But it won't be his first. 22 years ago, Lincoln got to within 1,500 feet of the summit before conditions became too dangerous and he was forced to abort his climb.
When I got down to the base camp, I was overwhelmed by disappointment. It was almost like a poison. I just couldn't let that happen again.
But now, aged 50, and with a wife and family, Lincoln knows that this is his last chance.
Having a family made a huge difference to Lincoln. Even though this had been his dream for a couple of decades, not coming back wasn't an option.
I just turned 50 and I was nowhere near my strength that I'd had back in my heyday. And I knew that the only way I was going to get through this was through the strength of my mind.
Okay, George, let's go, mate.
It's close to midnight, and Lincoln prepares to leave the pre-summit camp with his Sherpa guides. In front of them lie 1,800 vertical feet and an arduous 9-hour high-altitude climb.
I had a feeling that I was attempting the impossible.
And Lincoln knows that this year alone, 10 climbers have died trying to reach the summit. At a lower camp, Lincoln's close friend and expedition colleague, Mike Dillon, is monitoring his climb.
Lincoln and I had been friends for many years. She was one of the best climbers in Australia and a great friend.
Lincoln's left camp, Mike. Over.
We were expecting to hear, hopefully, good news.
Lincoln is now climbing in what's known as the death zone, an altitude starved of oxygen, where every step is a test of endurance.
Then the ambition starts to come in and the excitement starts to come in and the energy comes in, because this was my big chance. It was wonderful. There were stars everywhere and it just felt like you'd already left the planet.
As dawn breaks, he reaches what's known to climbers as the second step, the biggest obstacle between Lincoln and his dream.
It was just all that joy of the technical part of climbing combined with the world's greatest mountain. And the mountains had started to take shape. We could see the ghostly shape of the summit pyramid. With the summit of Mount Everest within my grasp, the amount of effort I was going to have to put in didn't really matter, because I knew I did have that energy within me to get to the summit. Those last steps were really difficult, but I knew I would get there.
Lincoln has made it to the summit of Everest. He's on top of the world.
I could just feel this glow of excitement and of joy. It was just the most wonderful feeling. It was 25 years since I'd started thinking about Everest, and finally I was here. And just the immensity of the view, the distance that you could see, the curvature of the earth. It was just beautiful.
I was just walking past the communication tent when I heard his voice.
Lincoln, it's Mike, over. I can't believe we're here.
It was fantastic because Lincoln deserved it more than anybody.
Finally.
He was perfectly calm. It sounded as though he was ringing from the office.
Thanks, guys.
Just remember, though, you're only halfway there, okay? We'll celebrate when you get back, over.
Somebody has to remind you that although it's a beautiful view, get down is a crucial thing, and get down quickly.
When you get to the summit, you're only halfway there. Reaching the summit isn't being a good mountaineer, it's coming back home every time.
Lincoln knows they must descend immediately from the death zone, as no one can survive at this altitude for long.
The death zone has earned its name because it's at a height where your body is literally dying. With the shortage of oxygen, it's very easy to let a little error slip past you, and that can lead to death.
Lincoln and his guides now face a grueling 3-hour descent to get back to the pre-summit camp.
That extra energy that you had from achieving your ambition, suddenly you don't have that ambition and you're just filled with tiredness. Suddenly, I just felt exhausted. Then I became overwhelmed with lethargy. And I passed out in the snow.
Suffering from a severe form of altitude sickness, oxygen starvation is causing blood vessels to leak fluid into Lincoln's brain.
I couldn't live in this oxygen-starved environment for very long at all.
If he doesn't get up and get down the mountain fast, he'll die.
I just don't know what happened.
Okay.
Direct to base camp.
You are easy.
Dorsha, this is Mike from base camp, over.
Lincoln is down.
He's barely breathing.
At base camp, Lincoln's friend Mike Dillon knows this is desperate news. Lincoln is suffering from severe altitude sickness, or cerebral edema.
We started to be very worried because when you get cerebral edema at that height, it's very unlikely that you'll live.
Pressure is being put onto your brain. There's nowhere for that pressure to go, so it makes you go delirious and you die.
Is he talking? Is he making any sense? Over.
Negative.
Cerebral edema can kill people instantly, but we knew that sometimes it can take a little while.
Close to the summit of Mount Everest, it's impossible to bring Lincoln down.
No one has the physical strength to carry anyone down from that height.
Lincoln.
Helicopters can rescue you from ships, from being lost in the bush. You can be rescued from the water, but you can't be rescued from the summit of Mount Everest.
Over decades, more than 200 people have been left for dead near the summit of Everest.
Suddenly, I was back
Lincoln.
in a sort of, I wouldn't say lucid state,
Breathe.
but I actually realised where I was. I was on Mount Everest.
He's getting up now. He's getting up.
Good work, Dosha.
I was lucid enough to realise that I really had to get down as quickly as I could.
But the fluid, causing pressure on his brain, is now leading to a dangerous loss of physical control.
I was going incredibly slowly. I could hardly walk. I was just so weak. Everything was difficult. I would tell my legs to move and they wouldn't. And I'd force them to move and I'd take the other leg and do the same thing. It was my mind that was driving me forward.
Somehow, Lincoln manages to make it back to the second step. But this means rappelling down a sheer rock face at 28,000 feet above sea level.
That's the dangerous place. It's a make or break it point, and often it's a place where people die.
And Lincoln's mental state is getting worse.
I was in a trance. I was just incredibly confused.
Another Sherpa is at the second step.
And I wondered what he was doing there.
A climber that he was guiding to the summit has died just below them. Already confused, the news pushes Lincoln over the edge.
It was such a shock that I fell to pieces. It was me battling the Sherpas. I was really on the very edge. It's an 11,000 foot drop. That's where I wanted to jump. I was trying to jump off the face. I had gone delirious.
Dorje to base camp. Do you read me? Over.
His guide radios Lincoln's close friend, Mike Dillon, at base camp for help.
Put the radio to Lincoln's ear. I want to talk to him. Okay, Lincoln, mate, it's Mike.
Can you hear me? It's fine.
We were his friends. We spoke his language.
It was all very confusing because I'd been living in a very intense world of being alone and coping with that, and suddenly there were other people who'd come from somewhere.
Leading one of the very last climbing parties of the season, Everest guide Dan Mazur has found Lincoln by chance.
That was actually the last day that there was anyone else on the mountain. Those four final climbers would have been expecting to step over my dead body.
You tell me, man. He had this really kind of wide-eyed, very gaunt look in his face. He was not in good shape, you know, and 28,000 feet, you know, the human body is very fragile.
Severely hypothermic and delirious from the swelling in his brain. It may already be too late to save Lincoln.
He kept looking at us and saying, "Oh, this is a brilliant boat ride we're on. What a brilliant weather for a cruise." Just lie down.
Dan recognizes the deadly symptoms of cerebral edema. He gives Lincoln oxygen to help alleviate the pressure from his brain, and chocolate to raise his blood sugar levels.
Suddenly, I was in the real world. I just didn't remember what happened.
Lincoln is pulled back from the brink of death.
Stand to sir. On 7 Summit. Team. Over.
This is 7 Summit, stand, go ahead, over. We suddenly heard a guide's voice come on the radio.
You have somebody called Lincoln Hall with your team.
Lincoln died? He died last night. Over.
He's alive.
You're kidding me.
It was pretty amazing. We were still in a state of shock. We hadn't really taken in Lincoln's death, really, to be honest. And now we had this extra news to take in that Lincoln wasn't dead.
A team of Sherpas is quickly mobilized to rescue Lincoln. But they are 4 hours away. And Lincoln has already slipped back into a delirious state.
You can slip away into unconsciousness and coma and death extremely rapidly up there.
I was hallucinating madly.
He turns on those trying to save him.
He fought us. He took off his oxygen mask, he ripped it off.
I was trying to go back up the mountain. In fact, I was on the edge of death.
Finally, 2 Sherpas arrive from camp to try and bring him down. Already exhausted from a 4-hour ascent, Lincoln's life is now in their hands.
The Sherpas had no idea of how fragile I was. I could only get half a dozen steps. Before I had to collapse in the snow.
The Sherpas must now get Lincoln down 7,000 feet. Three hours since the Sherpas reached Lincoln, and Mike Dillon is getting anxious.
Lincoln was, in a bad way, he was alive, but we didn't quite know whether he was going to ultimately survive. We thought he had a 50% chance of making it.
And as another night falls, Lincoln's progress is painfully slow. The Sherpas know that their lives are now on the line.
I was saying we have to go more slowly.
Move, go.
And they were saying, no, you have to go fast.
They push Lincoln hard.
They were prepared to do anything to get me off the mountain.
I said go!
I could tell from the tone of their voices that they were tired and exhausted and they didn't want to be there.
Move! Get up!
One of them went to hit me with his ice axe. They were prepared to do anything to get me off the mountain.
Go! Keep going!
10 hours since the start of the rescue. Lincoln is losing his battle with hypothermia and cerebral edema. Lincoln finally gives up.
I was able to go no further.
Bravery. Just bravery.
Barely conscious, the Sherpas push Lincoln on.
The only thing I could do was just to hold on to my commitment to find a way through this.
Get up!
I just had to be able to keep walking, to stay alive. But I was going to do it. I was going to get back so I could get home.
We're close, Lincoln. We're close.
I came around a slight crest in the slope. And I thought, this is it. I'm going to survive.
Watch out!
It was just a flood of relief. But I didn't have any energy left for jubilation.
Hello?
Oh,
Lincoln?
Lincoln's voice was so hoarse, I couldn't believe it was him.
it's okay.
She knew it was me. And that was just the most wonderful moment.
It's okay, baby. I'm okay, I'm fine. I love you too.
I came so close to destroying the family that I loved so much that I vowed that I would never let anything like this ever happen again.
At great personal risk, the Sherpas saved Lincoln's life.
I really wanted them to know that they'd saved my life and that I would be forever grateful.
Lincoln recovered, but lost the tips of his fingers and a toe to frostbite. He still rock climbs, but has no plans to attempt any more major peaks. Doctors have yet to understand how he survived so long, with so little oxygen and without shelter, in Everest's death zone. It's a clear spring morning, and David Hunt is preparing for his annual cross-country snowmobile trip with his 11-year-old daughter Leia.
Cool, eh?
It was just something that we promised that we would do every year, something together.
Oh, you look at that.
We always had fun together, you know, no matter what, there was never a dull moment.
Mum Barbara and little brother William will be staying at home. This trip is for fathers and daughters only.
Leia and her father had a special bond, I think from the moment she was born. They spent a lot of time together when Leia was younger, whether it was cycling, skidooing, all kinds of things. Her brother, I think, was very jealous about the fact that he wasn't going to go. But I think that Leia really needed to have that one-on-one time with her father.
Keep you nice and warm.
I love my daughter. She just had an interest to being around her dad, and she'd always want to come and hug me, and Daddy was like everything.
Bye now.
With David working hard through the year, Leia knows it's her one chance to get Dad all to herself.
My father is a workaholic, so when we went on these trips, I knew for sure all his attention would be directed to me, so I was very excited for those trips together.
It's Leia's big day. But with the temperature plunging to minus 22 degrees, David is wondering whether to postpone the trip.
Okay. That morning, I was a little concerned for the weather because it was very cold outside.
It was one of those mornings where you can like barely stand being outside for 1 second, let alone going on a trip.
So I told Leia, what do you want to do?
I was just so excited to go that I decided to go anyway.
Okay.
I really like snowmobiling, just the fact of having nothing on your mind. You're totally away from everybody, you're away from work. You can just enjoy the scenery and everything around you.
It's so cold outside, but yet you don't feel cold at all because you're having such a blast.
Leia and David are traveling on specially designated snowmobile trails. 30,000 kilometers of frozen freeways, crisscrossing the wilderness. Meticulously maintained by an army of grooming vehicles. The trails offer a thrilling alternative to taking the car between cities.
That morning, we were heading in the direction of my cottage in Mont Laurier. It's about 700 kilometers away.
The journey will take 3 days, and they're traveling light, with just a small bag of clothes for the hotels they'll be staying at along the way. Tonight, they're aiming for the small town of Saint-Jérôme.
I was concerned because it was around 2:30 in the afternoon, and darkness does come in around 4:35 in the wintertime. Figured around 4:30 we should be at Saint-Jérôme.
David has recently purchased a state-of-the-art, 2-seater Grand Tourer snowmobile, capable of 220 kilometers an hour. But David sticks to the blanket 60 kilometer an hour speed limit on the trails. Accidents on these tracks are all too common.
Every year there's maybe 30 or 40 deaths in snowmobile accidents. You could be coming on your trail, nice and slow, minding your own business in a way, and just looking and admiring all the scenery and everything. And you'll come into a corner, and the 3 or 4 machines will just be coming around that corner like they think it's a racetrack. If you get 2 skidoos and 1 skidoo is on your side of the trail by 6, 7 inches, forget it. It won't pass. They think it's a racetrack. Like we got Michael Schumacher on the track here, you know, and Jeff Gordon. My trick is not to travel at nighttime. Leave early in the morning and be finished by about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. That way there, you know, you won't run into all these people that are just going out for a fast night run.
After 2 hours on the road, they stop for a hot chocolate and check their directions.
You know, I think it's only about another half hour before we get to the hotel.
And I looked at the Skidoo map, finding the closest direction to get to Saint-Jérôme. Because what is fun about snowmobiling is if you do want to go in a direction, let's say to my cottage, there's 5 or 6 different trails that you can take to get there. And one of the fun things is that each year you take a new way, so you get to see new things. So I was looking at the map, and I told Leia that, look, well, it looks like this trail here is a nice windy trail and everything and all that, and that'll take us to Saint-Jérôme.
Sitting in the heated restaurant has warmed them up. But once outside, they're back in the grip of the ice-cold conditions. The temperature, which hasn't crept above -20 Celsius all day, is now beginning to fall.
It was very, very icy and very, very cold. The wind would blow us. It was incredibly, incredibly cold.
But right now, David isn't worried about the drop in temperature.
I had no concerns on us being very, very cold. The only thing that could go wrong is that if we broke down, but then I figured we'd be able to walk. I had bought brand new suits for me and Leia, so I figured you got the best of equipment, the best for warmth, you got it all, you know, so you might get cold a bit. You're not going to freeze, you know what I mean? And to get cold a bit, well, that's we don't mind, you know what I mean? It's wintertime, we live in Quebec, you know, you're supposed to get rosy cheeks, you're supposed to get a bit cold.
Leia is already dreaming about her favorite part of their trips, diving into a heated hotel swimming pool.
That was my passion. I loved being in pools. And so the idea of having a heated pool was always very exciting for me.
Leia and David arrive at Saint-Jérôme before nightfall.
Hi there. You have vacancies?
Yes, we do.
Excellent.
And do you have a pool? Unfortunately, we don't have a pool.
When we entered the hotel, we noticed that they didn't have a pool. And I looked forward to going into their heated pool so much that I convinced my father to go on for another hour until we reached the next hotel where they had a pool.
Like any doting father,
Thank you.
David can't say no to his daughter.
So I looked at the map and I said, well, we're about an hour and a half away. So I figured, okay, Leia, no problem at all, then let's continue. We got about another hour and a half to go.
David knows that snowmobiling at night brings a new set of dangers.
You're not in cities, so you have all these animals to deal with too. If something was to go wrong, you'd rather much be in the daytime than at the nighttime.
In spite of the dangers, David and Leia make good progress.
It was a new trail. We'd never been this way in the snowmobile before, and the trails were very good.
But 30 minutes later, the trail Leia and David are on starts to change. High winds have blown snow in drifts across the track, and the grooming vehicle that should have cleared it has broken down.
The visibility of the trail was very, very bad. You really had to be cautious.
David has to stay focused. Hidden dangers lie beneath the snow. If they drift off the track, they could smash into concealed rocks and branches.
I was just anxious to get out of there and away and to get onto a better trail and to get to the motel at this point. This wasn't fun.
With the light fading and the trail fast vanishing, David considers his options.
I looked at the map. I saw that if we had to turn around where we were to go to another trail, this would take us 2 hours out of our way and that we would never be able to make it to that motel before 8, 9 o'clock at night.
David faces a major dilemma. Lose time turning back for better trails, or carry on through heavy, ungroomed snow.
So I figured, well, if the trail's no good, we'll just go slow. At least it's good to save us time.
David presses on, hoping the trail will improve. But up ahead, a hidden trap awaits them. Metal guardrails, buried by the drifts, lurk just beneath the snow.
All of a sudden, my ski was stuck.
The metal skis are caught on the rails.
I was just trying to turn the skidoo, and it wouldn't turn.
It's steering them towards the edge of a ravine.
My first reaction was to turn around and take Leia and throw her off. And then I realized... Oh my God. That's when I realized that this is gonna really hurt.
When I looked down at him and I saw him in the bottom of the ravine, I guess in that moment I just kind of froze over.
David's snowmobile has crashed into a freezing cold stream, crushing his leg and pinning it beneath the water.
I was very panicky. I was very scared.
Dad! Just get out, please! What's wrong?
Using brute force and every last drop of adrenaline, David has to drag his legs free from underneath the machine. But when he tries to stand...
When he got up, I figured everything was fine, like we were going to walk out of it, until he fell.
I realized that there was something very severely wrong with my knee.
When David crash-landed in the bottom of the ravine, it wasn't just the ice that shattered. Pinned underneath 270 kilos of falling metal, David's knee took the full force of the impact and is now smashed into 15 fragments of broken bone. The slightest movement causes these jagged shards to grind against the surrounding tissue.
It felt like somebody taking a hammer and smashing your knee right against concrete.
Leia!
Throbbing pain that I've never experienced before in all my life.
Dad! Dad, please, just get up!
David needs to get out of the ravine and back to a hospital fast. But with a shattered knee, he can't move.
I couldn't just get up, man, and get out of there.
Dad! What's wrong?
David is now relying on his 11-year-old daughter to get him out.
Dad, I'm coming down.
But with the wind and snow suddenly picking up, it won't be easy.
My father has always been there for me.
Take care.
Now it's my turn to show that I can help him.
Leia's made it, but there's no time to rest.
Finally, I heard a voice, so I started to yell back.
Leia! Leia!
It was my father's voice.
Leia heads in the direction his shouts are coming from. It's been 3 hours since David last saw his daughter, and hearing her voice breathes new life into him.
When I heard Leia calling out my name, it was like a sigh of relief that I knew that she was still alive.
Daddy!
I'm here! Over here! It's okay. It's okay.
Despite all her efforts, Leia and David are back to square one.
I was happy to hear her, and I was happy to see her again. But on the other hand, I was very unhappy that she didn't make it and that she wasn't already a nice warm place and everything else, that she would have to stay here now with me in the freezing cold weather.
It's okay. We're gonna be okay.
Leia can see that her father's condition has worsened.
He didn't look well, he really didn't. He was trying to hide it. It was very much worrying me a lot.
Body sweat, caused by the pain of his knee injury, is freezing against David's skin. And with the wind chill dropping the temperature to minus 27 Celsius, his heart rate is slowly falling. Back at home, David's wife Barbara is worried. She's been expecting a call from them since lunchtime.
Come 9 o'clock that night and they still hadn't called, I had this really bad feeling in my stomach that something was not right. So I telephoned the police, and the police said there wasn't anything they could do until they'd been missing for 24 hours.
Okay, thank you.
I was just totally devastated.
At the crash site, David has given up any hope of rescue.
I didn't think there was another skidoo coming. But it was too cold of a night, for one. Very, very blowy. The trails were so bad. Who's going to want to go out in that? We wanted that wind to stop. It was just getting worse and worse. Darker and darker. Colder and colder. And I could see up in the trees, and it was blowing all the snow off of the trees and blowing it all onto us and blowing it everywhere. And it was just the noise. It was a noise that I wanted to stop.
Although badly injured himself, David is more worried about his daughter.
She was cold, and I was cuddling her up. She was shivering and shivering and wouldn't stop. I was trying to get her as warm as I could.
But one part of Leia's body, which was freezing cold, is now beginning to feel warm. Her feet.
My feet weren't cold whatsoever at that moment. They were kind of actually numbed.
It's gonna be okay.
Her feet are also swelling. Combined with the lack of sensation, it's a sure indicator that Leia is developing acute frostbite. The cold has frozen the fluid in her skin cells, creating ice crystals. These cells have ruptured, causing her feet to swell. Now, the blood supply is not reaching the damaged skin, and the nerves in her toes are slowly dying.
Every 15, 20 minutes, I'd just be patting on her side, and I'd see that she'd move. I didn't want to wake her up, but I wanted to make sure she was always alive.
David has tried to stay strong for Leia. But now, one thought goes round and round in his head. Has he just led his young daughter to her death?
I felt guilty because I brought her there. It was a living nightmare for her. There's no way that Leia deserved this. So if there was anything that I could do for this to turn around and be different, I would do that in a flash, but I can't. I was worried that if I fell asleep that I would just not wake up. I didn't want Leia to wake up and for me not to be there. We gotta survive. We gotta survive no matter what. I was very, very relieved that the sun was coming up.
Against all the odds, David and Leia have survived one of the coldest nights of the year in one of the most inhospitable environments on Earth.
We did it and we survived, and I just thank God for watching over us, you know.
But when Leia goes to get up, there's a shock for both of them.
My feet.
Holy jeez. She had ice all around her boots.
Can you feel your feet?
No.
Balls of ice have formed around her feet, which now prevent her going anywhere.
Move your feet. You can't feel them?
No.
Okay.
David grabs a metal signpost out of the snow to chop away the ice.
I was holding the wood part of it, and I was chopping with the aluminum part of the sign.
As David breaks up the ice, curiously, Leia feels nothing.
My feet were so numb, I didn't feel anything whatsoever. All I could feel was him hacking at it.
The fact that Leia cannot feel her feet is a very bad sign. The nerve endings in her toes have died. She doesn't know it, but she's in the advanced stages of frostbite. Despite the damage, she can stand. Now David wants her to leave him and save herself before they freeze to death.
You gotta go back to the trail from last night, okay? It's the only way. It's gonna be okay.
Either she leaves now on foot to go to get help, or we die here.
I love you, Daddy.
I said to Leia, when you're walking, just believe in your heart, Dad is with you. So you walk and you leave and you get to the town, I'll be good.
Dragging her numbed feet through the snow, Leia heads out once more to find help.
I was in pain at that point. I was not comfortable at all.
Back at the crash site, David knows that even if Leia finds help, it might not arrive in time to save him. He has to try and walk, or die here in the forest.
After Leia left, I figured that I'm gonna go that way too. I'll try and follow her.
Come on!
Although his knee is shattered, David summons the courage to stand up.
I grabbed that post and I made it up. I just fell down and was unconscious.
An hour into her walk, Leia spots a derelict building in the snow up ahead.
As I went up the hill, I noticed a little lodge. So I walked up to it and I noticed that it was a little cabin or something, maybe for fishing or hunting. I was so disappointed because I wish I would have seen it the night before and I would have been able to drag my father towards it or something so that we could have gone in it, you know? So I was very disappointed at that moment.
As Leia pushes on, she starts to worry that she'll never find help.
I felt like I was not getting anywhere. When you're in the woods like that, often it all looks a bit the same.
Leia doesn't know it, but now every second counts in the race to find help. Her next decision, to go left or right, could seal her father's fate.
As I was walking, I reached the point where I had turned off the night before to go into the lake. I remember my father told me it's very important to always stick to your right, he told me. No matter which way the trail gives you an option, always go right.
Leia goes right, hoping that the path will take her towards the town and the chance to save her father. David's body is shutting down. Hours later, a family on a snowmobile trip spot David's body in the snow. David has clung to life.
My daughter!
Now his only thoughts are for Leia.
My daughter!
He said that Leia had been found and that she was going to be taken to Saint Jérôme Hospital. It was a sigh of relief that we succeeded. We made it. You know, we're not going to die here. It's not our time.
Honey.
Incredibly, Leia and David are rescued just a few hours apart. Leia walking into a nearby town on her badly damaged feet.
I was so happy. I was crying. I was so happy. It was like I started breathing again.
Leia and David survived their ordeal, but sustained lifelong injuries. David underwent reconstructive surgery on his shattered knee. But Leia's injuries were more severe. Partial amputations of both her feet were necessary after suffering acute frostbite.
I really do feel lucky to be alive. The doctors thought that I would have been amputated close to my knees, and I managed to be able to keep both of my heels, so I'm incredibly lucky for that. And I thank God every day for it.
For her incredible actions in saving her father's life, Leia was given the Star of Courage, one of Canada's highest awards for bravery.
Just 11 years old and being told to go for help and not hesitating for one moment. She's the bravest person I know.
I would have never got out of there without Leia. Never, ever. It was Leia that saved my life. She's my hero, you know? She's everything to me, that girl.